in New York, y'all had the guys up on the ladders and you know, Hubert Harrison, and so that's the kind of knowledge base that I come from. I got to hear the Moors, I got to hear communists, um, Claude Lightfoot, maybe y'all read about the guy. And these were real people, and they were very knowledgeable people. But they had a thing, it used to be like 4 uh, circles right off of King Drive, y'all call it now. Back that time it was South Parkway. And they had the little jitney cabs and stuff running around. You know, New York had stuff like that too when my son first went up to New York. And you didn't have to be out there long, but put your hand up and just stand out there and the guys stop straight down King Drive and take you to where you have to go. So, anyway, so I grew up with that kind of thing, and my father, let me do this, because a lot of times people get up and they be talking, and they don't tell y'all the whole truth. This guy Ben Ami, who they be talking about, that brother right there is the one they all work together with my father. And I be telling the brother, I know him that he didn't know one scripture from another. And actually still didn't know that much scripture, if you really want to know the truth. And so I be hearing people talk, oh, this guy, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, but he had an agenda. We didn't realize it at that time that he had an agenda, okay? So, some people got this thing, we always say something good about the dead. Well, not everybody, because they ruin a lot of people's lives. I'm gonna just tell y'all. They ruin a lot of people's lives. And simply because what the scripture says, they have a zeal of God, about God, but not according to knowledge. And that's what they run into. They didn't really want to have the knowledge. They wanted the knowledge to run a scam. All right? So this is what you get a lot in our way of life. And I tell people before you, and it actually came out, somebody said it today, what's the thing we used to say? And he thought Most High working with all the best way it works. You doing things that you supposed to be here. All right? And I think Shlomo said there's no new thing under the sun. That keeps you humble. You cannot be taught unless you're humble, and don't be in such a rush. You got some people, they want to be, I call it, they have the Jesus complex or Moshe complex. But most of them, they'll never add up to it, because most of them do not want to do the work. So with people today, and I always try to tell them, first thing I tell you to go and read The Miseducation of the Negro, right? Just by the way of hands. How many people have read that book in here? All right? The Miseducation of the Negro. By who? Carter Godwin Woodson. All right? And it came out in like 1933. And Carter G. Woodson, that book was like almost like a Bible to us. Okay? Later on, in my nationalist days, there was a book come out by a student of William Leo Hansberry, who taught at Howard, and Chancellor Williams, The Destruction of Black Civilization. We read that book like it's the Bible too, okay? And The reason I come like that, throwing books out with people, everybody's not made to be coming in here every Shabbat or holy day or something like that, and they want to get it, right? If you humble yourself, and somebody said it today, but this is the way I put it, declare yourself a student and study everyone. Declare yourself a student. So when you used to meet us, our rap was, I'm going to class, okay? I'm going to class. Because you're going to be learning the rest of your life. But we were the only people, and I saw this when I was in the university, and I never forget, it was this elder white lady, and I had some classes with her, and she was coming back to school, and I was like, okay, University of Chicago? And she's still going to school, and but our people are the only ones, they think they have to get it in 4 years. No, take your time. We used to say, where are you going? But that is what happens. So even our people come in the way of life, and this is why you meet a lot of people in the way of life, they don't really know where they're going, and they will mess your life up too. I remember we had an argument about the beards. Guess what went up to you? How come you don't wear a beard? Okay, well, I probably not in my genes that much, okay? But the whole thing is, they was putting all this stuff, to be a Hebrew, you had to have a beard. I ain't against beards, okay? And I wasn't for the big afro, I don't know what part of Africa we come from, but, but that's, so these little things that really meant nothing. So a lot of times, a lot of things people think is important is not really important, okay? But that's something that they can latch on to. So when you come into this way of life, keep that in mind. If you humble yourself, and where you open up to try to learn, what they say, when the student is ready, the avatar will present itself. But that's what happened with this way of life. We had no knowledge of, back in the day, of that we were connected with the people of the book. A lot of people still don't like us recognizing that we are amongst the people of the book, okay? So they'll go through all kind of changes, because I went to school with a lot of Jewish kids. And, these are just myths, like even education today, educators tell you, they'll be like, they just assume that the Chinese or people, those type of people in the Orient, okay, are smarter than everybody, okay? I know better, okay? But that's what we did. So people had that thing about Jewish people because they dedicated themselves to getting education and to get a bunch of things. Nothing wrong with that, okay? Your book tells you here a little, there a little. But what? A line upon line, right? Precept upon precept, all right? So a lot of times, and that's why they say, oh, you don't critically think. Now they're trying to tell you, we don't want critical thinkers. We don't want woke people. Am I right? All right? So why don't you want woke people? That was our thing is, we was taught, hey, wait a minute. They didn't want us to have various things, right? Here's a man just put a label on us and went to work on the world with it. Are you the descendants of Ham, right? And you're cursed. Well, it's hard to work that off, and you curse, and you people be cursed from now on. Okay? So when you look at this, this is how we get into this madness. So our way was to get educated, okay? And let's break this myth too. A lot of us, this is my pet peeve, that's what B'nai Israel too. A lot of us was already here. Did y'all know that? So when you be hearing people talk like that, that's the truth. All right? it was in the Indians' legend, what they call Indians, you know. It's in their legends. All right? So they not only everywhere they went, they was marauders and just burning books up. So like when you hear them want to ban books and stuff like that, it's the same mentality. Right? So like now you can read and comprehend, all right? Because a lot of our people read, but they don't comprehend. So that's like not knowing how to read. So when we come in this way of life, don't use the way of life as a crutch. Oh, we can't fight the white man. Why? Oh, but I know if you cut him, he'll bleed. I saw that, okay? And if he cut you, you'll bleed. And what you bleed? Red blood. But then they had a thing with them about they had blue blood. But you cut them. You see what it be, right? You see. So all of this uniqueness that they are supposed to have, you know, that's why you have to go back and see what our ancestors said, all right? I was looking for a speech, and Henry McNeil Turner, you ever heard of him? Well, Henry McNeil Turner was born a free man and got educated. And he migrated to Georgia, and he used to be in the Georgia Assembly by votes, you know, right around the time of Reconstruction. And so they were having trouble now by the law. It was all right for them to be there. And then when they saw that people was like him was articulate, you know, he was saying things, God is a Negro, right? What? You know, and had, you know, he wrote the newspapers and things like that. Don't take it as literally as it sounds. What he was saying is, he said, we have as much right as you Bukra people talking about God. You don't have a monopoly on God. And I have to give this to you, Shlomo. I use this thing, and you articulated one time you were speaking, but we use it and we talk about Adon Olam, right? The God you serve is not no tribal God, right? Or offshoot God, right? Adon Olam, what is that? Master of the universe, okay? You know, don't tell you understand it right away. You be like, whoa, wait a minute here now. Master of the universe. So this ain't no nickel and dime God you talking about. All right? You talking about the master of the universe, the all-knowing, omniscient, okay? The all-powerful. We may say, sometimes we'll say El Shaddai, omnipotent. We'll say, what's the other one? Everlasting, right? Omnipresent, right? So you have to say, when you talking, how long has God been here? All right? So when you're reading in Tanakh, right? And we started with Bereshit and we go all the way through, you know. And one thing is, if you know, it's like reading a big darash. You have to draw things out of it, right? Most people be educated and get educated, and they don't even know what the word education means. What it mean? It's a Latin phrase, right? Which they got from the Greeks, of course, too, right? Educere, educe, draw out of you what's already in you, right? See, that's one thing they try to give Jesus credit for, if he did say it, but it wasn't no new thing. He said the kingdom of God relies where? Well, what we be looking up for? Looking over, looking down, okay? It's already in you. You are a microcosm of the macrocosm, right? So bring it down there where people can understand this. We didn't wait on a white man to come to us. Go read Popol Vuh, Popolvuh. That's what the Native Americans and the people that was over here, especially, that's who they ran into first, right? They had books. We want to act like, when we came, we brought them books. Well, how did you get here? Because you was trying to go to China or India, right? So when you did all of this, that's why I say humble yourself and try to understand you're dealing with somebody just as dumb about the planet Earth as a lot of any other ignorant people would be, right? My father used to say, here's a cat just poked his head out the cave, and now he's going to tell you about the planet. All right? You were here. This ain't just hyperbole. You were here thousands of years. They're not going to tell you that. Okay? And what's the book the Hindus read? Book, right? And then when they about the gods, but anyway, and they talk about space travel in there and space war. Okay? So you've been thinking you're getting it all? Okay? That's why when they come, and they had a god, Krishna, was part of the three god thing, but they had these underling gods too, right? So when Europeans went to them by, we come to save you, said, we don't need you. We got Krishna already, okay? So when the Catholic Church was setting their stuff up, that's what they did. They went out and searched the world, and then that's why it's called Catholic. The word means what? Universal. So he was trying to unite West with East, or East with West. Or then they say, never the twain shall meet. All right? So when you start understanding these things, you be like, wait a minute. So like, how are you? That's what you say. And it, to me, is insulting. How you happen to be Israel? I'm wondering how you happen to be Israel. When they went to the Ethiopian Jews and stuff, and they was talking, they said, wait a minute. We've been doing this for 1,000 years. When did you get it? And I'm sitting there and watch the Christian church set up, and most of our people don't even know about those councils. You have to understand the early councils. They be sitting up to you like, we always knew this. You didn't know nothing. So they will keep you in ignorance because they were in ignorance. They told us we was Gentiles, and that one of the first things got us right was when you start reading it for yourself. And who was a Gentile? Japhet. Y'all go find a book on Japhet. You're going to look a long time because you're going to, all right? But they talk about Shem. They talk about Ham or Ham, okay? But they act like because they come on with a story, a mythology. You see, that's why in school, when you start to studying this stuff, everything they call it comparative things. Am I right? They be like comparative religion. See, that's the little thing you get when you get higher education. It's comparative. So most of our people don't even know the books to read about all the holidays and stuff that they be coming up with. It come right out of their mythology and other people's mythology. That's what happened. Okay? So don't be acting like, I didn't know that. I didn't know. Look, everything in this world, civilization is shared reality. You share. The only people come up, I'm the only one. This is the only begotten. This is the only way. No, it's not. You say you deal with Adon Olam. There's other people in here, up here too, that know various things that you need to know. So that's where we come from. And I think it was Rabbi Yeshurun when he did the little thing about the JST or something like that, he was saying, you know. And now watch this. Just listen to this poem. I'm going to read part of this poem. It says, before the earth was, I was. Before time was, I was.
Yes, sir.
You found me not long ago and called me Lucy. I was 4 million years old. I had my tools beside me, and I am the first man. Call me Adam. I walked the Nile from Congo to Delta, a 4,000-mile job. Black history is world history. I lived in the land of Canaan before Abraham, before Hebrew was born. I am Canaan, son of Ham. I'd laugh at Arabs and Jews fighting over my land. I lived in Saba, you may call it Sheba now, southern Arabia. I played in the Red Sea, dwelled on the Persian Gulf. I left my mark from Babylon to Timbuktu. When Babylon acted a fool, that was me. I was the fool. When Babylon fell, that was me. I fell. Black history is world history. I was the first European. Called me the Greek toward Grimaldi. I walked along the Mediterranean from Spain to Greece, oak Greece. Why did you kill Socrates? Why did you give him the poison hemlock? Who were the alien gods he introduced, corrupting the youth of Athens? Oh, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Whose philosophy did you teach? That was Greek to the street, to the Greeks. Pythagoras, where did you learn geometry? Democritus, where did you study astronomy? Solon and Lycurgus, where did you study? Everybody know who Solon was? That was like supposed to be somebody like the lawgiver, right? And like that was for the Athenians, and Lycurgus was to do with the Spartans. All right? So that's why you have to, when you go to school, you be getting it, but they ain't gonna tell you what you're reading. You have to sit there, Castor Williams say, sit there and labor a while. Don't be in a rush. In Egypt, Akim, and Egypt is Africa, and Africa is me. I am the burnt face, the blameless Ethiopian. Homer told you about in the Iliad. Homer told you about Ulysses, right? So a lot of time when you go to school, this will motivate you if you know what and whom you are talking about, right? So a lot of time we rejecting things, and it actually has to do with what you gave. But they blurred with you. They have you looking at all these great Greeks, all right? You know, when those guys went to war, I'm diverted. When they went to war, they went out naked or with no drawers on. Okay? See, that's why when you see them on the thing, you see them naked, right? And you be wondering, what is this? Okay? They didn't take no women with them, but they had little boys. All right? So when you studying this stuff and you start getting about the sex and gender and all that stuff, don't freak. So wait a minute, let me get at this, okay? They're telling you a lot, and when you're reading, you have to bring your own understanding to. I'll never forget, I was in a class, and they was talking about the Achilles, and Achilles was upset about, actually it was his lover. I'm sitting in the University of Chicago, sitting up in there with them white folks, and they're talking about this. I can't understand this. Why would he be so, you understand? And I took it as long as I could take it. I said, because he was his lover. Oh, it's quaint. I didn't think of that. Okay? Who you think you jiving? You can break those myths and stuff. You don't have to be scared of it if you go in there armed. All right? Homer told you about Ulysses too, a story he got from me. Black history is world history, right? Who was the original MF? In school, you get him as Oedipus. What did Oedipus do? Oh, I say he's the original what? All right, see? That's Moshe. All right. I am the first Chinese. China has my eyes. And we've been making fun. Let's look at this, let's look at this. And then you find out it has to do with the way that this part down here with the, eyelids, I guess, and stuff, right? Ain't nothing on the planet don't look like you, right? If you say you're a hue man, what that mean? Hue. Color. Ain't nothing on the planet ain't got color. But they want to act like something wrong with our color. But you see them getting tans, don't you? Right? And now they staying out too long. That's the thing I think I was coming to the Knesset. And they was talking about all this stuff. We have to watch when you get a bump and all this stuff. Because they have upset planet Earth. Y'all know, and you don't have to be as old as me, and you know this weather ain't like it was a long time ago, a few years back. Right? Do you think they're gonna tell you? You will be glad you got some melanin. He had it too, but his is what? Retarded. Right? So y'all thought Francis Cress Welsing, Isis paper, anybody read that? All right? All women should be in a read Francis Cress. Or Francis Cress Welsing. Okay? She come up with a thing called the Cress theory of color confrontation. So a lot of people, this is, you know what I mean? Yeah, right. She was on it. And the Negroes at Howard got mad with her because it was cut down on them, people, financiers and philanthropists donating money. So they got to get rid of her. William Leo Hansberry is actually looked on as like the father for modern education about Africa, not Carter G. Woodson, okay? Carter G. Woodson was looking at a larger picture, but Hansberry was focusing in on Africa, okay? And his own people were laughing at it. Oh, ha, ha, ha. You taking his class, right? Drusilla Dungy Houston wrote a book. What did she write? All right. She wrote a book called The Wonderful Ethiopians of the Ancient Kushite Empire. A black history book, ancient black history book written by a woman. Okay? Like, whoa, wait a minute now. Because, see, they want to reserve certain things for you. She wrote this book around 1926. Her own family thought she was crazy. Y'all see this guy, Tony Dungy? He be on football and stuff like that. He was a coach and stuff. I'm a good guy, too. All right? She was in that family. And her people threw her works away because they thought she had come up with some nonsense. That is one of the monumental books in African studies. Drusilla Dungy Houston, The Wonderful Ethiopians of the Ancient Kushite Empire. All right? Remember that, right? So a lot of times when I look for things, I look for balance. You know why I look for balance? I look for what women have said and stuff. Who was the first teacher? And who was your first teacher? More than likely, your mama, right? So all these things, like when you be thinking and hearing things, all these things actually follow a pattern, right? Mathematics is about what mama put together. That's mother wit, mother wisdom, okay? Mother knowledge, right? Serious. That's why they don't want you learning that stuff. That's why James wrote the thing, Stolen Legacy, right? And it's a book we pass over. I know I use this Knesset. We pass over a book, and it's a key book. See, I don't even know if I brought it in. All right? What they never told you in history class. Anybody ever read that? Oh, now y'all come. Okay? Yeah, y'all need my class. Yeah, I'll have one tomorrow. Somebody want to buy it. No, that was brother. That was about the super ridiculous, false narrative of race. Yeah, and he from Alabama, and he also taught in the school system here. And did you read that book? All right, that's one of the best books out. Because here again, when I told y'all I'm eclectic, he went about back in the day when all this stuff when you hear anthropologists and be talking about it, and he brings it down, right? So it's like 12 or 13 chapters, I think, in the book. So a lot of time, how do you read a book, right? A lot of us, I'm going to read the book. I be like, no, read a chapter at a time, right? So that you don't make yourself a liar, okay? Because you're going to get into some things that you don't understand, and then you put the book down. So hey, that's the way you do, right? We're in a rush, like John Henry Clark used to say, when he wound up to Schaumburg, I want to know everything. You know what I mean? He said, well, son, don't you know that Black history is only the lost pages that they didn't put in history. So when you go hear a historian, look, I study history. I got people, well, you know a little about Black history. No, nigga, I know history. Why? Because I exposed myself to it. I wasn't sitting up those classes and they talking about the Greeks and I don't know nothing about the Greeks. Where did they come from? They're like, they just spawned, you know what I mean? When you talk about Egypt, there's a Cush, Ethiopia is before that, okay? So when Drusilla wrote a thing called The Wonderful Ethiopians of the Ancient Kushite Empire, all the stuff that you do, right? We tell people when they come in here, it's like, it's common knowledge, and I say all of us get the same thing. You say, what? I said, how much time you got in a day? Put it in minutes. 1440, right? Everybody in here gets there. So don't be going to the Most High thinking you got cheated. Everybody here gets there, because they didn't have it on the test. 1440. And that's where you bring that knowledge down to the level where the people are at. They can relate to things when you put it 1440. Everybody get the same thing, rich, poor, whatever else you got, right? Black, white, blue, or yellow, whatever color you want to use, right? You get 1440. Now, you have to figure out, once you be conscious, remember, you was here how many years before you knew you was here? So you want to know why you're supposed to give honor to your mama and to whatever family you come into? Because they took care of you, right? So you don't never get beyond that. I find myself like now quoting my mama more than I do my father, right? She told me how to make it in the world, right? So this is what I want you to put your knowledge to, right? Most of us don't want to do the work. What's the 22 utterances? Everybody in here knows, right? What's the 22 utterances? What did I say? All right? That's in your language. It's how many letters? All right? And if you want to find out how white folks get the other thing, right? Then if you see like noon, and then it's a noon Sophie, you know what I mean? You know, and then all you gotta do is put them on the side, count the 22, and the ones that happen like mem, you know, you get to start off with a mem, but they're always at the last of the mem is the what? It's a little different character, right? See, all this stuff is important, right? You know, so that's why they be running the people and they're running this game on you. Here's a book, The Energy of Hebrew Letters. Who read it in here? All right? That's for you brothers, for Thomas, where he already know, all right? And that's why I tell you, I don't care who wrote the book, Rob Burry. The man breaks these letters down, right? You come in my class, I'm gonna tell you to get you a metaphysical Bible dictionary. Why? There you go. See, a lot of times you read a name, and it's more in that name, right? The book we used to read called Moose. Okay, I'm trying to think of the name. I'm using the name so better. And it's called the Bible Unauthorized. Okay. Now I found out this A.H. Moose actually was supposed to be a woman. And she wrote it the year I was born, 1942. All right? Now you may find it's in a book called In the Beginning. Get it? All right? And it's breaking down the first 10 chapters of Bereshit, Genesis. Okay? And that's another thing. Start using our names for stuff. Okay? You know, Genesis, you know, Exodus, you know, why are we using the Greek names even though it's in English? You know, now you got another knowledge base. So you tap these things in that little book we used to read, the Apocrypha, right? And if you read Apocrypha, you know what I think it's in Ecclesiasticus. All right, I think I'm right. I got it right here, pardon me. So, and he tells you in there's a thing, and this guy was named Jesus, son of Sirach. Okay, now the Ethiopians read this stuff, right? And it's a part in there in his prologue. He says, "For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same meaning." All right, or not? Okay, translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. All right, and not only those things or these things, but the law itself. Right? Every one of us now that's conscious now about our way of life, you know that you got to get it into the Hebrew, right? For yourself, right? You can't keep telling me what King James portion of the Bible saying. We got some Israelites, you can't even read if you go into their meetings, unless you read the King James version of the Bible. There's so many versions of the Bible. So you have to know about these manuscripts, all right? So that's what I'm getting at. You see, when you wake up, wake all the way up. But I always say sleep is what? Natural. Some of us wake up only to go back to sleep. Right? They hit a fall and like, oh, must be, I'm following the wrong religion now, okay? So we go back in there and take out this European vomit. Here's a guy poked his head out, like I said yesterday, and he's gonna try to explain things, and you don't even know it. So this is where we coming from. So a little bit about a lot of things. So I said, this guy said, I am the first Chinese. China has my eyes. I am the original Asian, Aboriginal Asian. Look for me in Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand. Talk to somebody that during the Vietnam War, and I know I had a partner of mine, and he went to Cambodia, and he said people was coming to come, look up, you can move, Cambodia, right? And he was like, no, on the west side of Chicago. Right. But he didn't see the connection. Then you read a person called Runoko Rashidi. He has about 10 books, along with J.A. Rogers, right? Your library, if you don't have J.A. Rogers in your library, I'm going to give you, we'll go find Runoko Rashidi. Little guy about that tall, think he can beat the world, right? And he did, okay? Died on one of his trips to Egypt, all right? Anyway, so he has cataloged this stuff, right? I think I have a book tomorrow maybe with me about the African presence in Asia. So when they were going through the Southeastern Asia, and then they were seeing these big, what I'm gonna call them cathedrals, but temples, and they was looking on the faces, right? So don't y'all know who the Buddha was? He was a black man, all right? Even they'll tell you this, right? But this is what, and they saw that big nose, and was like, whoa, ain't gonna what's happening here? And then so what they tell you, oh, well, that couldn't have been you all, that was extraterrestrial. Yeah, that's just what they do. Now, let me just show you, the stuff is right out here because a lot of the kids in hip hop, there's some guys called the 5%ers. I know in New York, they are on the streets and everything, right? But don't think them boys are foolish, right? I'm telling you, all right? Yeah, they have their little scam thing, because there was a lot of people. If you wasn't an Israelite, okay, this has been on me then. You ain't an Israelite, and they see your wife, and you ain't with them, who prayed for me and laid for you, if she listened to me, all right? See, we have to have, you have to have a standard for your way of life, right? In fact, you're given a standard. That's what we used to say, well, how come God didn't give Adam more than one Eve? But they want to act like I'm walking around thinking I'm inadequate, so I can't have, you understand? No, ain't nothing wrong with you. So this is how I'm saying, translate this into, that's why I say a little bit about a lot of things. Let me read this last little part. He said, I used to travel, Black history is world history. I used to travel to America long before Columbus, right? So it was a big thing when Ivan Van Sertima brought his book out. They came before Columbus. Remember that? How many of y'all got that? All right, 1, 2. All right, see? And I'm talking to what's supposed to be a conscious crowd. Y'all don't even have that in their library. Ivan Van Sertima. I've met him on a number of occasions. Okay, he's dead now. Okay? But his work is still out here. Right? Sheikh Anta Diop. Right? How many have read his work? He got about 6 things, but one thing is, he has a book, and it actually has 2 books in one. And he called about African civilization, or the original African civilization. I'll say, all right, I got it here. I shouldn't be slopping over this like this. So, but anyway, the African origin of civilization, right? So I get it to anybody. You know, don't tell me about a book being anti-Semitic, right? Look, hey, how many books that you read that you agree with everything in? I don't even do that with the Bible, okay? But you got those people, oh, it's in the Bible, okay? Well, what Bible you reading? Or which Bible we gonna talk about? Okay? The African origin of civilization, Sheikh Anta Diop. He was a Senegalese brother, right? And Diop and W.E.B. Du Bois, Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, and that's Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop, okay, were looked on as the two greatest scholars from the 20th century, if you want to talk about African history, okay? So I'm just telling you that should be in your library, okay? Even if it's just, when they coming in. How many people, and they don't even know the basic stuff. They got that, I want to talk with you about so-and-so, so-and-so. And I said, have you read J.A. Rogers? No. I said, well, I'll give you one to start with. Okay? Give you 100 amazing facts about the Negro. I was in about 8th grade. That's how I'm 7th grade. And how I used to, why I'm good in history, I think 2 white women, 3. Helen Shannon and Helen Shannon. Helen Shannon and Helen Child. And before them was a girl, a teacher named Miss Platts, and she taught art, right? And I got to throw a dude in there too. This guy, this was his name, Mr. Worst. So I'm in the class with these Jewish people, and I'm paying them off, right? I'm just being me. And the girl come up to me and she said, wait a minute, what's your name? And Bowie? She said, Bowie? She said, my father told me about this kid, and he would come over there and he knew all the presidents and stuff like that, and I could make money off that now. Yes. And she went home. This is from the west side of Chicago. She went home, told her daddy she was in the same room with me. She did not make it to that semester out. They was gone, right? And I'm like, and she said, because he used to talk about this family in the projects. I said, yeah, it's a project. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying, I tell people like this. If you're going to be genuine, be genuine. I don't care whether you're white, black, red, or yellow. Okay? Be genuine. Say, I don't know various things. But meaning, when you say it, don't be saying you holding something back. Okay? So that's going to anger me even more because I say, you gaming. I know game. West Side, we like, hey, you don't run no game on us. Because we've been gaming y'all all our life in the first place. My father and them was bootleg. Selling, was that White Lightning. I'm a little dude. I had to be about 3 years old, right? But we know how to talk to the white man, the revenue guys when they came around. And they be walking right on the stash. Okay? You know what we talking about, baby. Don't even know what you're talking about. Okay? But this is like somebody came, a Jewish lady came in the thing. Guy, he went over to the board back there in the Knesset. He was covered up. And the guy was like, I just got an education. He was some college professor. So what was, and they said, that little guy over there, talk with him. Well, you know me, I don't really, I don't really talk with strangers, right? I talked to him a little, And he was like, I said, well, take the notes. Okay, take notes. Don't assume that you know people's culture, right? And that's the best way to explain our stuff anyway. Culture, not religion. Please stop that religion mess, right? God didn't give you no religion. That's a culture. He gave you a way of life. And that way of life, you got yourself right there. You got guidance. Don't make it more than what it is, right? That's what you got. You ain't got a religion. Oh, you believe this? Oh, we'll stand on 2 toes. That's what we have to do because they said that's what they do. No, I ain't doing that. If it don't make sense, I'm not doing it, right? When the Ethiopians went into Israel, they got to take their things out and be inspected, right? Who inspected yours? No, that wasn't a front. And most of us never even got the truth on that. A lot of that was about our blood. Tell y'all, okay? That was about our blood. Okay? And when they thought they had enough, they shut it down. Don't be no chump. So this is, I say, if you're going to talk with us, talk real. Don't be holding back. You say, oh, I didn't know, right? Because we're going to show you, people say, when you went to them, they said, well, we didn't know it was no white Jews. Okay? So we were maybe both ignorant of each other, but don't call, oh, you ain't doing what I do, right? I'm not being insulting. I'm just telling you the truth. I know y'all ain't gonna like this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. How many of y'all watched this girl that did the series Insecure? Huh? All right. Now she's I think she come out of Nigeria or somewhere, right? And she had a thing, and that series was ran about 4 or 5 years, right? But one of them is a thing in there, and I be telling people you have to. Thanks to my son, I started focusing in on stuff more and more. So she's out here driving Uber. So this brother misses the bus, and he's like, "Oh man," And then she's like, "Well, I'm out here. I'll pick him up." And she said, "Oh, you needed to catch that bus?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm gone." And so anyway, he says. And she started having, so she's just making conversation, right? And she said something like, "Oh, I'm not gonna charge you for this, stuff." He said, "Well, don't, we getting in little things and stuff," and he's trying to make small talk. And I told you that's where you tell crazy people. Y'all won't know how quick. I got this from my mama. They can't focus, all right? And they can't make small talk. You talk with people and everything's serious. But when they want to tell it, how you supposed to laugh? Well, my mama taught us don't laugh, right? So I used to be laughing inside, but I wasn't letting nobody know I like Bob Hope's jokes. Just saying. I'll be laughing inside, but I'm not laughing with you. Right? Because what did David Chappelle find out? Oh, he walked away from $35 million. What's wrong with this Negro? Right? And he said, no. He said, what happened is I thought these dudes was writing together. And he said, I found out they weren't laughing with me. They was laughing at me. And then he come back and he made more money than he ever made. Now they came back the other day, and he's a Muslim, but they want to act like something wrong with him because he said something against Israel. No, it don't work like that. We are B'nai Yisrael. Truth is truth. And it cuts like a two-edged sword. So it cuts on both sides. So like you remember that if it hurts you, it hurts somebody else too. Don't think that you're above something because something you wrote down or thought you read or thought you understood about the situation that we find ourselves in. All right? We have to tell the truth. Don't be coming to me, oh, Lord, what do you think about the war in Israel? I'll say, I'm not watching the war. I'm watching the slaughter. Okay? So you're going to come in here with your undivided premise about we have to support Israel regardless. No. They tried that stuff on Dr. King. See, most of us, people tell me they read Dr. King. Dr. King wrote 5 books that he wrote. How many of y'all have read them all? Okay, smooth. All right. Most of us have not even, and look, and this is like a godlike figure for us, right? So this is what I'm telling you. Don't be, I'll march with Dr. King. No, wait a minute, brother. Then I have to go back. I ain't that young now, because I know people talked about how they talked about Dr. King. Okay? But, I march with him. Yeah, all right. Okay? But Dr. King said, it's not my nation right or wrong. He said, my nation, when right to be kept right, when wrong to be set right. That's when you start getting all this stuff about communists. They show you the same thing over and over. With Bin Laden them, that's what they used to do with King. They used to live, and they come out, this communists in the movement, because we ain't got sense enough to know we're being oppressed. Okay, so you're going to give the credit to communists, right? So Dr. King, I thought he was a chump too, okay? And then I started figuring out how the situation worked, okay? He could fire people up. Y'all don't know what them spirituals and stuff, when they get down there and them kids be fired up, and little kids, they was marching. You didn't go to school today, honey? I was marching, Mama. What was you doing? What was they saying to you? You said, well, the police came up to me and asked me why how come I'm out of school. He said, I want my freedom. So then I had to look at this thing a little different. All right? So a lot of times we think we got the answer. Right? But it'd be more there than meets the eye. So when you read Tanakh, why you think we go from Bereshit to Devarim and we come back, right? And you listen to, you would do it in a year. You highlight, okay? But what's the first thing when you're using Bereshit? That's what, in the beginning? What's the last thing? Shut up. What's the last thing you get? What's the last with Torah? Israel. In the beginning, all of that go through. In the beginning, Israel, he tells you in the Devarim that you was in my mind when I made the stuff, right? See, so you are very important. Okay, there you go. You see, that's what we used to call it, the higher teachings. Our thing has a metaphysical kind of thing too. It ain't just literal, right? Good if you got something from it, but now now we're gonna find out if you're real, because now you got to sit down and really study. So that's why I be telling the brothers around here, you talking about being a rabbi, I lack that Baruch, okay? Look, you're on Front Street now, okay? So now, do the work. You can't get this on the cheap. What did my father used to say? If you come into this way of life, he said, be prepared to do what? Spend some money. Okay? Be prepared. Right? When I hear about your father, I never met him, but I knew of him, just like I knew of Elder Farrar and that whole situation there. I had a guy in here today, and he just happened to come. He didn't know nothing about what was going on, and he said, look, I come here because I was, and the way it was laid out, and we didn't know that, right? But the brother speaking, I was sitting down there, I was enjoying every moment. I ain't gonna lie, I always tell them I was on a cloud, because people think, oh, we can't speak unless we split a verb or splitting verbs and stuff. You understand? No, we had all of this intelligence anyway. You call it native intelligence. Native, like that's a bad word, right? So this is what takes place. So when they come out, they say this was an anti-Semitic book. Now, I already knew about the book, been read the book, right? And books, right? And we said, well, wait a minute, let's see this for ourselves, okay? So you're gonna get mad at Kyrie because he in an interview and don't even know who he is, and he said, I found the book interesting. And then you mad with him? You go to the University of Chicago and walk in there and you don't know nothing about Karl Marx. Okay? And you got to speak about capitalism, Adam Smith. He said, who? Yeah. So when you get these classic books or get that knowledge, then you find out. You can't go in no class that's worth its weight in class and you don't study something about what Karl Marx or what they on with socialism and stuff is. That's why when I talk to people, I say, well, tell me what it is. What you upset about? Okay? Because when Christian, I know how to get rid of it. I said, well, show me where Jesus went into a church. Because she said, you got to go to church. Show me where he went in one, right? Right? So this is what you have to do with our people. You have to get down there in the pits with them and make them think, right? So that's what it does. Don't just dog them, right? I got a book here. It's called The God of Jesus. Okay? Not Jesus is a God. See, they tell you Jesus was a God. I said, well, who did he pray to? I'm talking to my neighbor, and I'll be in church. Well, you know, man. I said, well, what do you know? I said, you know what it says in the Lord's Prayer? What they call the Lord's Prayer, which is an old prayer, Hebrew prayer. Am I right? All right? And I said, quote it for me. I said, I can. In the English. Our Father, I've been studying in the Hebrew too, okay? Our Father, what? Right? I said, this is what they leave out. He didn't pray to himself. You be at the family gatherings, I get it all the time. This we do in Jesus' name. I said, he didn't do nothing in his name. What you doing that for? You ain't even sure that he lived, and I'm not. I'll tell you right now. Okay? And I can tell you a bunch of people to read, and just to get a base, your knowledge base. That's why I say you have to be eclectic. Don't think you got it, okay? You read Tanakh, and when you're going through things, and then you thought you said, I read this before, then you go back and you say, I get something else out of it. You bring in more to the table with your experience. All right? So don't be slamming people, this we do, we got to be baptized and stuff. I said, well, what John the Baptist, who's supposed to be Jesus, is what? Cousin. Right? So you thinking like, oh, Jesus never met John the Baptist. Well, if it's supposed to have been his cousin, okay? And then when he said, well, you don't really need to go through this. But they think it's he knew who he was. You know what I mean? But he said, suffer it so, for the people to see it too. Right? See, this is the kind of knowledge we got, but we be wanting all form and style. Stop that mess, okay? And even with your relatives, try to take it down a little, and let's try to learn from this, okay? My sister-in-law and asked me after been knowing me, I said 52 plus years, right? Because they said, "Oh Lord, he took my sister away." Then another older sister went on meeting him. You know what I mean? Oh Lord, and I said, "Glory." She said, "Well, what made you want to do this?" I said, "Because I found out I was a damn fool." She was like, "What?" I said, "Yeah. I found out I was a damn fool." That's what made me go to this. I started reading the stuff for myself. One of my sister-in-laws, the youngest sister, after my wife, and she called me. I'm getting ready to come to Shabbat and stuff. Can I just talk with you? I said, okay. You know, but I really got somewhere to be, you know what I mean? But then I'm like, no, she deserves this. She said, Moses, the stuff y'all do is in the Bible. The stuff we do ain't in the Bible, right? I said, yeah. Where's Easter at? Where's Christmas? That's what I do to my sisters. They older than me. You know what I mean? Show me, right? Right? So this is like you are in a valuable position when you wake up, right? And stop arguing with them, and you know what I mean? Bring it down. Most of them, they don't know. Oh, I went to church today, and we had a good time. So, what did he preach? Oh, I don't know, but our singing was good, right? But y'all sound good in here today singing too, right? And when you ain't getting this, right? What do? Even with our Jewish friends, they be like, wait a minute, how many times I've been in the synagogue, my wife and them, they singing and stuff, they be like, why can't we do this all the time? I said, don't ask me. Or they come in, what should I expect here? I said, we're going to rock the house. But when them drums start speaking, it's hard not to move, right? And you can try. And I told them, don't be moving when the drums go off. Yeah, It's like me going to a funeral. I ain't gonna lie. When they hit that organ, it can wipe you out, man. Okay? And I don't know what chords or whatever they be hitting, it touches something, right? So it's that bass and stuff, right? If we don't, we gotta sing it like this. That's why they call their music what? Classical music. No such thing. Nothing classical, right? When jazz come along, or what they later on call jazz, that was monkey music, all right? But you right there to make money off. Okay? So I can't go into everything I wanted to, but I just was trying to give you a bit of the way we study, all right? This book, in case you want to buy it, it's called The God of Jesus. And this man tell you, Jesus said the Father is the one and only true God. Out of Milwaukee. Okay? I'll give it to you. His name is David A. Kroll. 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 David A. Kroll. The God of Jesus. Right? A comprehensive examination of the nature of the Father, Son, and Spirit, right? The Trinity is nowhere in the Bible, right? So one of the most powerful things we ever got when we wanted to learn the Shema, right? Shema Yisrael, Yehovah Eloheinu, Yehovah Echad, right? He's not only one, he's a unique one, okay? So, a lot of times we get it, with the English and stuff because you want to add in something. So they'll call my niece like to tell me, well, Jesus is Lord. They said, not over heaven and earth. Okay? She gonna try to mess with me with the scripture because she know I don't know nothing. But they walk in that house and they be like, stepping over books coming in there. Okay? And do you know, have you read all these books? I know what's in, right? You see? That was my thing in life. I formed my libraries for my children. Okay? Now my children, said, Dad, I don't know what we're going to do with all these books. I said, well, you can either get rich or I donate some of them to the community. Okay? But yes, that don't mean those, and I got good kids, intelligent kids. All my kids graduated from college. Okay? But the whole thing is, they have to make a choice. And that's the key in the scriptures, that choice. Right? Like I like what Baruch said, or somebody said, he said, he could have chose to stay with his people. All right? See, my last little thing, all these people always telling me about, they hear these voices, right? Talking to them. Right? Like, okay, I can't see what you say you hear. I don't know. Right? I said, when it comes down to Satan, what's even the rule with the white man? What you supposed to do with Satan? Resist. Right? So how these voices tell you, oh, that means I go out here and shoot up the whole thing because I lost love? Okay? No. I figured that out when I was a little dude. Man, us black people supposed to be scared of ants, ghosts. Okay? They running from a man can boiling in the eye, this big. Y'all don't get this. That's why I'm glad I was around. Okay? I used to cheer for the Indians. For the white man against the Indians. Ask me, will I do it now? Even my son, he be like, don't think that. Now they coming right there and showing you the movies. Right? So how these white folks, they had money for the Indians, and then these white folks said they was Indians. So they were starting to even try to split that up. A lot of us, Osceola and them, they was fighting because they wanted to come and get one of Osceola's wives who was black. Okay? Did you get that in school? No. Okay? And you be thinking, oh Lord, this guy just had a novelty in the movie. It was real. We fought on the other side. I told you a lot of us was already here. See, that's the history you get. So when you get the history, get it right. That don't mean you don't question, but get it right. Don't be walking around and feeling you in fear. You ain't in fear to nothing on planet Earth. Oh, I don't add up. Yes, you do. They add the same way you add. Right? But they leave out what they want to leave out. One last little thing. That's it. Get this book. It's called Unsung. Unsung. It's put out by the Schomburg. Okay? Unsung. Unheralded Narrative of American Slavery and Abolition. Okay. Okay, but they got another thing about power conceived. Nothing. You know who said that? Frederick Douglass. All right? But that's what they got. That's the draw. But the Unsung is the name of the book. And it's put out by, and edited by the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture. Usually when I come up to New York, I try to make it time so I can go to Schomburg. Okay? I've been meeting people. I said, you don't go to Schomburg? You should go to New York? Okay. Okay. So, and this is paperback, and it's 22, but it's an anthology. So, and I told you I was looking for this speech by Henry McNeil Turner. And I found the speech in here. Okay. I Xeroxed it, and I'm going to put it on the poster, and we have it. And we put it with some other stuff. Henry McNeil Turner. He See, these guys want to preach it like me, but we get it. Okay? Oh no. Right? I tell people all the time, Dr. King saved the ministers. Because we went on that kick. You go back there, you be reading Henry Howard, God, and those guys. You know, they weren't talking like these people talking about saving your soul. That's one of the biggest hoaxes in the world. The soul is on it. That's something you know is yours. About saving soul. Now they tell you, oh, we don't want woke people. Yeah, it's all right. You know, I'm in the mall and here's a white woman come up to me talking about, and she was from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I said, I got to do this for your child, standing up with you, have kids with her. She's trying to evangelize me, right? I said, what do you know about Tulsa? So she said, what do you know about Tulsa? Well, I say, well, I want to know about this situation in, what was it, 1921. And they call it Black Wall Street, and y'all burnt it up. And she was trying to take a kid, not know you can't leave. Okay? On my time now, but you messing with me, right? I said, why should I listen to you talking about God? It's obvious you people don't really know God. So as I tell you, you know, so that's what I do. You know, see, they think I have to believe everything. I don't believe everything in nothing. Okay? Let me research it. Let me try to find out about it. You know, so when I look at stuff and look at it for myself, all right, you can be my brother and you can be my sister, but I might not let you marry my wife, my children. Okay? You know, I said, let's don't start off like that. Okay? You don't know everything, and you saying you don't know nothing about us. So you gonna everything you got is negative. So let me finish this out a little bit, and then I'm gone. Okay? And I want to thank you for listening to me. But he says here, I used to travel to America long before Columbus. Long before Columbus came to me asking for directions, Amerigo Vespucci, on his voyage to America, saw me in the Atlantic, returning to Africa. America was my home before Aztec, Maya, Toltec, Inca, and Olmec. I was here. I came to Peru 20,000 years ago. I founded Mexico City. See my pyramids? See my Cabeza Colossal in Veracruz and Yucatan? That's me. I am the Mexican, for I am mixed with all men, and all men are mixed with me. I am the most just of men. I am the most peaceful, who loves peace day and night. Sometimes I let tyrants devour me. Sometimes people falsely accuse me. Sometimes people crucify me. But I am ever returning. I am eternal. I am universal. Africa is my home. Asia is my home. The Americas is my home. Black history is world history. Y'all want to know who did it? Right? Not me. That was a guy named Marvin X. Right? Marvin X. All right? He wrote it, well, the thing I got here, 2/18/1982, February 18th, 1982. And I was dumb enough to keep it. Okay? All right? See, so that's why I say I listen to Muslims. You know, I tell you like Karinga says. Karinga used to say, I'll quote Marx, Marx's mama. I'll quote anybody I want to talk if it's making my point. Okay? They'll have you, don't read this. No, that's what I want to see. What I say in class, and then time y'all see a quotation, they got the dot, then it started, and then it dot. I want to see what was between the dots there. That's right. You know, even the people in the church now, they be telling you what's the most important thing on your your gravestone or whatever. That dash. That dash. Because that was the life. That's standing for that life. You know. So we used to say God is the power of a -1. Shalom. And thanks for listening, everyone. What's now? Oh, this here, the energy of Hebrew in letters, Rab, Bird. Rab.